Good morning, third graders. Welcome to another week. Today is Monday, May 4th. Let's go ahead and get started. Please get your student interactive out. I will do the same. We're going to start with the weekly launch on page 502 and 503. And I actually want you to take a look at page 503 first. I want to look at our question for the week. Our question asks, what are some ways to prepare for an emergency? So your job, you can pause the video and do this on your own now or do it later, but your first job for the day is to read our weekly launch. Take a look at this infographic. At the top, the introduction says emergency, earthquakes, fires, storms, floods. Emergencies call for immediate action. Several organizations help people prepare for emergencies. So I want you to read about these 3 organizations that help people prepare for emergencies. And when you're finished reading, I want you to think about, this is what the quick rate asks you to do, but I want you to think about how these different organizations can help before, during, and after an emergency. You can write that down or you can discuss with someone at home. When you're finished with the weekly launch, we're going to move on and take a look at our anchor chart. Let's look at our anchor chart first. We're going to look at page 505 and then we'll go back to page 504. So our text this week is a procedural text. So what is a procedural text? Well, the purpose is to explain how to complete a task. The characteristics of procedural text are that it has a title, and that title identifies the process being described. So if you're wondering what process you're reading about, all you have to do is go to the title. So for example, I'll give you a first or second grade example. If you were writing a how-to, or if you were reading a how-to, the title would tell you exactly what the text is teaching you to do. So I could write a how-to and title it, How to Make a Peanut Butter and Jelly Sandwich. And if I asked you what the purpose of that text was, you would know that the purpose was to learn how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Now the text that you're reading, it's not considered a how-to, we call it a procedural text because it has a lot more information. In our reading, you'll notice some signal words. These signal words show steps in a process. So examples could include first, next, finally. You'll also see a materials list. It shows items needed for the process. Sometimes you'll see a numbered list. It shows those steps in order, listing them with numbers. And then you will always see a conclusion. It summarizes or encourages a self-check. So summarizing will remind you what you've read about. Encouraging a self-check will encourage you to think about, hey, have I done this? Or is this something I need to do or want to do? Now let's go ahead and look back at page 504. At the bottom, again, it talks about the purpose, and I want to focus in on this. The purpose or reason for reading a procedural text is often to learn how to do or make something, and the structure of a procedural text helps the readers understand the steps or the order of the process. So you're going to read a text called a safety plan, and the purpose for reading, your purpose might be that you want to learn how to stay safe in an emergency. So go ahead and take a look at that text and be thinking, what is my purpose for reading? Let's go ahead and preview our vocabulary on page 506. On page 506, we see that our vocabulary words are prepared, emergency, memorize, responsible, and instructions. While you're reading, make sure you look for these words. They should be in bold, on the side of the page, in the margins, and the definition should be there. So let's take a look at our author, Marcy Rendon. She is a Native American writer who lives in Minnesota. She writes books, short stories, plays, and poems. Wow, so she writes across a lot of different genres. She especially likes to write about Native American life. Marcy is a mother and grandmother, and she enjoys teaching her grandchildren's dog to do tricks. And she teaches, oh my goodness, she teaches how to play piano. Let's reread that. It says, Marcy is a mother and grandmother, and she enjoys teaching her grandchildren's dog to do tricks, such as playing the piano. Now, can you guys picture that? A dog playing the piano? How funny. You know, we have a bunch of dog lovers in our class and cat lovers too. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look. The text you're reading, again, the genre is procedural text. The title is A Safety Plan in Case of Emergency. And this text begins on page 507. You can pause the video and read it to yourself, or you can pause the video and listen to the audio. I will have the audio linked for you on my view. Again, here's the example of where you will see some of our vocabulary words in the margin with the definition. Okay, so you're going to be reading from page 507 all the way to page 19, and then you'll stop there. That's all you have to do for today. Tomorrow we'll pick up where we left off. Please reach out to me if you guys have any questions. I'll be happy to help you, and I hope you have a great day. Bye, you guys.